Here's a question for you. When you're adding types to your PHP application, is using mixed ever a good thing? Isn't it the same thing as having no type at all? Well, today I want to show an example where I think it's actually acceptable to at least temporarily use a mixed type. So let's look at a practical example. I made up this code. This is not a real class, but you'll see we have this function that looks up an account and it talks to some external system. And so this particular example, it's returning JSON, but let's just imagine that the shape of this JSON could be, I don't want to say random because that would be kind of a really weird API, but let's just say it could return 7 different possible shapes depending on what type of account it is, right? So what we're getting back, this JSON, we want to return that, but we're not yet ready to like define classes for each of those different types and like figuring out how to like which one to instantiate when we get this response back. So, but I'm at a point where I want to just start beefing up the types in the system, right? So I'm slowly, maybe I'm introducing Laravel and I'm taking it from level 0 to level 1 to level 2. And so I'm touching this class and the question is there any value in explicitly stating that I'm returning a mixed type? Now, as far as PHP is concerned, having a mixed return type is essentially the same as having no return type at all. And in fact, as far as PHP stand is concerned, they're identical. So what is the benefit of putting this here? My argument is that when we're going through this iterative process to slowly introduce types to a system and not massively introducing refactors along the way, this at least tells me I've looked at this class, I can't touch this yet, but I'm documenting that I know it returns essentially any possible type. Now, over time, you would come back and you would narrow this down. So maybe we're going to narrow it down and say, well, it returns an object or it returns an array. Now, even that would be an improvement over mixed. And then we could go a step further and maybe it returns an array of these different shapes. And then we introduce like a DTO class or something, whatever architecture you use in your application. But I just wanted to point this out because I think this return type sometimes is always viewed as, well, that's for the tool, whether it's PHP Stam or some other type checker, but it's not. It's for us as developers too. And in this case, it means I looked at it. I can't touch it yet. Maybe I've opened a GitHub issue. We're going to come back to it as we get further into this conversion process. But for now, it's fine. So I just wanted to talk that through. It's a little bit of a thought of experiment, but it shows really the benefits of having types as documentation, not just as an aid to static analysis tools.